said, say, man, it's a video of you going around say you, your 9-year-old cousin when you was 19. I said, so? Who give a getting how much you were 40 years later?
That right there is what's raising a lot of people's eyebrows. My brother DSB, what's going on? How you doing, my brother? Thank you for being here. Like that right there, I'm gonna run it back. I'm gonna start it back over. But that right there, things like responses like that. Now, whether he's trolling, rage baiting, whatever words they use, whatever he's doing that or not, we don't know. But that is some of the bait that people are using to say, all right, this dude moving funny. Something wrong with this dude. Something ain't right with Charleston White. So we run it back.
Somebody said, say, man, this a video of you going around say you, your 9-year-old cousin when you was 19. I said, so? Who give a
hey,
getting how much you were 40 years later? So what? So? I ain't never had one allegation. And I'm telling you, I ain't never had one allegation. And I ain't got one allegation.
Once again, out of his mouth, he's saying, of course, to protect myself, I'm gonna use the word allegedly. So out of his mouth, allegedly, he's saying that he's took some, but he's never had one allegation. So y'all tell me, let's use your critical thinking. Let's put our minds together on this, right? For him to say, well, let's run it back. Once again, let's run it back. Let's make sure we try to make sure we clearly hearing what he's saying.
40 years later, so what? So? I ain't never had one allegation. And I'm telling you, I ain't never had one allegation. And I ain't got one allegation. Not a one.
Ain't nobody said he done nothing. Ain't nobody said he done nothing.
About 11 or 12. And we was at Miami house. Charleston had just came home from TYC. And I was getting out the shower or whatever. And he came in there bundling me.
Now, I was one of the persons thinking.
Now, before my mans get deep, I believe this is House of Hypocrites, but before my man gets deep, you are hearing what Charleston White is saying out of his very own mouth. And he's also somebody who's somewhat promoted, somewhat celebrated, somewhat protected, somewhat idolized by a good portion of Black America. I've always said Charleston White was a broken clock. Like any broken clock, you're going to be right twice a day. It's inevitable. You're going to be right twice a day. But is that broken clock something that you choose to use as your timekeeper, knowing that it's broken? Now, the watch is malfunctioned. The watch cannot help you, but you still choose to use it. So what does that say about the culture? Every show I've done this week has exposed the debaucherous culture, the flaws in the culture. Even Wednesday. We all failed Wednesday. It was a massive failure on Wednesday, right? Behaviors. What Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about, the inappropriate behavior of Black Americans, right? But isn't this a part of this Black culture where, unfortunately, Black people protect those who prey on our children? Unfortunately. Why? Why is that? And it's still happening. It's happening right. If everything he's saying is true, it's happening right in real time in our face. It's happening on camera, like he's admitting. If everything he's saying is true, of course, I got to protect myself. So I'm saying it like that. But you read between the lines. But if everything he's saying is true, why does he have a platform? Why isn't this something that more people know about. So a little background information on Charleston White. Is supposedly a former gang member. He spent time in juvenile detention center after participating in a killing of a man during his youth. And she's the young lady in the interview that we're going to watch next. She's going to say the incident happened after he got out of this juvenile detention center. He became a youth mentor, and he said he did community work. He said he stopped doing community work because he realized people weren't supporting him. He became an online influence, of course, you know, for a lot of his shucking and jiving and all his points and key takes. So he'll have a good take in his shuck and jive and all these things here, because we seen it during the Metcalf Anthony trial, right? But let's let this video play a little more before we go a little further.
All these things Charleston White was saying is just satire. Ain't nobody that foolish to get on camera and expose themselves and say these particular heinous things. I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't believe it whatsoever. Until you have somebody accusing you of doing exactly the things that you said you done. And then it's a relative. This woman has no monetary gain. She's not going to become no superstar. She handled the situation at that particular age with her parents when it happened.
Yeah,
but she protected Charleston White for any real consequences when it comes to ain't no paperwork. That's what he said. Ain't no paperwork. Ain't nobody putting no charges on it. But he'll speak proudly about it. And some of y'all like, well, why would she even come out and say anything? Maybe because when Charleston White got on the internet and spoke boldly and proudly about taking advantage of white girls when he was younger.
I mean, if my thing is, because Haywood, I hear you and I'm with you. But they should, if he actually, they should, especially if he's out proud saying, yeah, I did it and ain't nothing happened and ain't nothing you gonna do about it. I mean, I don't, you know, we need Battle Genja here for the law aspect, but I'm not sure about the statute of limitations on that. But I'm like, what? But he just out proud because out of his mouth he's saying, yeah, I did it and ain't nothing y'all gonna do about it, basically.
She felt some type of way because she was an actual victim as well. And maybe the white girls he was speaking about not gonna come out and speak, but she was. Let's get into this video. This is a sad, sad case. If this is true.
Right.
Around what age were you when this all happened?
So I do say we're gonna watch these pieces, but I have this full interview. I have this full interview that we're gonna watch next.
About 11 or 12, and we was at my auntie house. Charleston had just came home from TYC, and I was getting out the shower or whatever, and he came in there bundling me. He kept telling me that we was playing house. Everybody do it. And then,
you 11 years old. You're 11-year-old little girl, man. What are you thinking at that time? Were you scared? So like terrified of it?
I was scared. Of course I was terrified. Because what am I supposed to think? And I'm a child, you know?
Right.
I mean, what would you,
Yeah.
Wow.
But
the
it's terrible.
time I told my parent I never ever went back over there again. Everything else was handled accordingly. You know, some families are the families that like to keep stuff under the table because, you know, everybody, the way we grew up, everybody business ain't nobody business, you know?
Something to talk about. In most families, they sweep certain things under the rug that's been done in the family to protect individuals, the victims, the parents, the cousins,
right,
whatever. So what she's saying is going to resonate with a lot of people.
I just said
men
that.
and women that been victims.
I just said that. It's been too long, too many times, too many families, too many children have been constantly preyed upon, constantly victimized because everybody wanted to protect that family member. They want to protect the family's name. Nah, that person need to be kicked to sleep. And in this situation, like, I think the thing really that's really getting people, that's really rubbing people the wrong way is Charleston White's arrogance in speaking about it. Just like, yeah, so what? What you gonna do about it? That's the picture that's being painted. And of course, you know, the question can be asked, is he trolling? If he is trolling, well, why would you choose to troll on something like this? That will make him even more of a scumbag. Right? And no, we have to add that piece because, of course, there are no official allegations. Well, there are no official arrest or anything like that. But I'm just saying, if he is trolling, I don't think he's trolling on this one. But at the same time, I don't have any information to prove anything. So these are all allegations, and I'm not saying anything is true. So it's all allegations. But at the same time, all right, all right.
Of somebody like a Charleston White, allegedly.
I had watched one of his videos recently because I had heard about how he was on there making jokes about.
See?
When we was little, we used to have sex with our cousins. Paperwork on what happened, but just what I wanted to reveal because I didn't feel like everything was appropriate at the time. We got district clerk office paperwork here now. So district clerk. Thursday of November 1998, Charleston White signed a court order arrangement to now or anytime after the day above contact the victim, Shalondra Price. Khan was 11 years old of age when contact was made. Sexual or direct penetration was made. Defendant has previous convictions prior to current event. Paragraph 1 states the test was positive for defendant's semen.
And shout out.
Now, I wish we could find that document. Of course, that's one of the things that I went looking for, and I was not able to find said document that she was reading from. So we cannot neither confirm nor deny that that document exists, but we heard her reading from a document, you know, saying that Charleston was supposed to stay away from her. According to, you know, let's play it back because let her read it again.
But just what I wanted to reveal because I didn't feel like everything was appropriate at the time. We got district clerk office paperwork here now. So
she's saying this is district clerk office paperwork. District clerk.
Thursday of November 1998, Charleston White signed a court order arrangement to now or anytime after the day above contact the victim, Shalondra Price. Khan was 11 years old of age when contact was made. Sexual or direct penetration was made. Defendant has previous convictions prior to current event. Paragraph 1 states the test was positive for defendant's semen.
And shout out to OG Murder because I'm using his video to try to piece together the things that she said. But she's going to go into how there was semen found. They did go through a legal route to get some type of justice for her. But then she's going to speak about how they didn't want Charleston White.
And see, every time I try to look for that, it keeps saying that there's no public. It says there's no public record, court document, or verified news report linking Charleston White to a 1998 sexual assault case involving a district clerk or having anything to do or anything passing through a district clerk. So once again, I'm not saying Charleston White is innocent, but what I'm saying is I can't find that information. I'm not sure where to find it, and I do want to find it. But we heard what Charleston said, though. We did hear what he said, and we'll never overlook that.
Well, this is her words. They didn't want Charleston White to actually get in any type of trouble. He just came home from doing juvenile life. So before he can go through that system again, he was offered a plea deal. And this is why Charleston White speak about a lot of his records being sealed. But I don't know if a plea deal can pull up on your record. But he speaks so boldly about these particular actions.
Yeah.
This is probably the best way to update your resume in 2026. And I've tested a lot of these tools.
I wouldn't even think nobody would do something like that and come out and confess to doing it and it actually be real. That's me.
But a sick person would. A manipulative person would. A person who understands the psychology of the people that they're talking to would. You hiding in plain sight. That's one of the oldest tricks in the book. If you understand the psychology of the people who follow you, because you've crafted them in a certain way, that's why they follow you. Of course they're gonna believe anything you say, or they disbelieve anything you say, or whatever, however the message you need to be crafted, however you craft the message for you, it'll get to them the way that you intended it to get to them. But we're also talking about people who are, what they call them, the automatons, the blind followers. There it is, power and control. If I have power and control over your thought, we've been talking about the power of ideas, reading the blueprint for Black Power, the power of ideologies, how they help shape and control how people walk, talk, think, behave, move, act, all these different things. People who are loyal blind followers don't ask questions. And they always believe that the person they're following is correct.
Being naive. They say somebody show you who they are, believe them.
Right.
It was
Right.
basically like a plea made before he was able to be sentenced. I didn't want to fully prosecute him because they was making me feel bad about it because he was my cousin, you know.
Right.
And so with me being so young, I was just like, okay, well, I don't want him to go to jail. I want this to happen.
He's done a lot of things and he's been involved in a lot of things that he doesn't seem to go to jail for.
So, I mean, we had everything from the detective's name to the signature of the district clerk. I mean, I don't know.
And then this says, this is crazy. This is crazy. They got he been tested positive for the semen, all matched up. Direct penetration, sexually direct penetration was made. Defendant has previous convictions prior to the current event. Paragraph 1 states the test was positive for defendant's semen. This is crazy. We got a detective name and phone number on here. March 16, 1999. Yeah, Charleston, you can't keep hiding from all this. You can't keep hiding from this. Was it any kind of friction in the family? Like,
And so with this video making its rounds, as well as the videos of Charleston saying, yeah, I did it and ain't nothing happened. I mean, once again, it's all allegedly, but allegedly sound like he may allegedly need his ass whooped. He said, you know, the two don't sound like they were fast kids, like a lot of young kids, 5 and up, which still don't make any sense in what he did, but adults lost how they stopped to keep. Now, you're right. No, Haywood, as a matter of fact, to your point, I was just watching a video on YouTube, and it was showing the difference in how a father was dressing his daughter. Let's say the daughter is like 3 years old. So a difference in, well, I give her 5. Let's say she's 5. The difference in how the father was dressing the daughter and how the mother was dressing the daughter. So the mother dressed the daughter as if she was a young lady. The father dressed her as if she was a 5-year-old. The adultification of the kids. But they're keeping nothing away from the children. The children are being just submerged in all the debauchery from the beginning. There is no shielding them away from the horrible aspects of the culture, the horrible aspects of the entertainment. So yeah. But it's the also like the thing with the fast kids. You got to remember, once again, let's still go back to the adults. The adults call them that because of the behaviors that the children are exhibiting. But why are these children exhibiting these behaviors at this age? It's not normal. So what's happening to and around that child for that child to be exhibiting that behavior, which is not normal behavior for a child? Like when I was coming up, we might have talked about sex, but we was all scared to have sex. We were, let's say from 4th grade on up. You know, that's when we really start being exposed to sex and stuff like that. But not even deeply exposed, like HBO, watching like HBO Cinemax, Showtime, Scramble Vision TV, you know, you see things like that. Wasn't even introduced to porn at that time, but even when you introduced to porn, even in those days, like coming up, like late 90s, early 2000s, we were still actually really scared to have sex. But if you have a young person who is sexually active or has an urge to have sex, that's not normal at that stage. So what's going on around that child and what's happening to that child?
If people telling you lying.
Yeah, a lot of it came from like my aunts and stuff saying that I just wanted attention and stuff like that. Like, I really don't want to make this about anybody other than myself, you know.
Also, the fast child label is a label that is used to cover up the adult's actions as well. I just thought about that. Other times when that label is used on those, especially those young girls, because they don't use it on the young boys, they use it on the young girls. When that label is used on the young girl, sometimes it's used to cover up the actions of the predatory adult.
You know what I'm saying?
She's not the only one. He has, like, they have like 2 more cousins, family members that's victims. She really want to bring them into it, so we're not going to say their name.
But as far as my immediate family, everybody was out on board after everything got processed and was, you know, systemized or whatever you might want, whatever great language you might want to use for it. And I haven't had to really revisit that except when he came to Stop 6 working at the club, and then he had put that program there for the kids. And I was just thinking, damn, for a person who always doing shit. You know what's going on, you know, like, if I was that young, that means Charleston was 19, right? 19, 20.
I mean,
I don't just think about it every day. I remember the exact ages both of us was, but I do know he had just came home, but he was a whole lot older than me, you know. People think like that is funny and it's a joke, but if you ever go on my page, anything that I'm on there doing for the jail motivational speeches or any of that, if you just listen to it, it'll tell you the whole story. You know what I mean? This ain't something I just started dealing with. This is something I've been dealing with.
Take time.
Your next breakdown could cost thousands.
Unless you have endurance.
I will never pay.
I'm a good.
So when Charleston White first hit the scene and he was blowing up everywhere, of course, my old skeptical ass was skeptical. Like I am about a lot of things, but a lot of times when I have a specific feeling about a person, and I do my best to evaluate that feeling and make sure I'm not hating. But after listening to Charleston more and seeing him more, and then more information coming out over time, it's like, this dude is not right. He's off. This dude I think he's out for self and always imaginable. And that's not a good thing, because he's willing to hurt other people to satisfy whatever insatiable desires that he has.